Welcome you all to the Middleton City Hall. It's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting of the Middleton Plan Commission for October 22nd, 2019 to order. The first item is the roll call.
Slavish,
Here.
Murray,
Here.
Ramsey,
Here.
Brar,
Yeah.
Hubbard,
Here.
Paulson.
Here.
By speakerphone, 6 present.
Okay, so the next item before the public hearing is the approval of the minutes, and the minutes are, you have all gotten it, that,
No, I just made 2 quick copies.
Okay.
I didn't have a chance to make more, but I can read it to you if you'd like. Commissioner Paulson has an amendment. Kurt, did you want to read that, or did you want me to read it?
You can read it.
Okay.
oh, I can read it, it's okay. So, the rewording is moved by Ramsey, second by Slavish to approve the concept, but to let Finance Committee determine the amount of the TIF incentive. Paulson offered a friendly substitute motion that the Plan Commission only makes findings that the extraordinary soil conditions on the site are TIF eligible expense. That is advantageous to the development plan in the area that there be a 4-story instead of 1-story building on that site, and that therefore, without some TIF assistance, a 4-story building on that site would not be feasible. So I guess we did have all that discussion, so it's good to put it in there, So with any other changes to the minutes beside that?
I'll move approval.
Okay, with that modification. So need okay, I second it. Okay, Michael seconds it. So all those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as amended, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes. Well, Kurt, did he say? that?
Yep, he's there.
Okay, all right,
I heard you
okay.
say it.
So at 7:02, we have still some time here, so let's take item number 2. Can we take it number?
Yeah, I was
number
hoping
two?
to get through 2 and 3 before we got to.
Okay, all right. So it is the specific implementation plan modification signage for Farmac 8475 Murphy Drive. So I looked at it, it looks pretty nice, so.
Daphne wrote the staff comments. Did you want to
Yes.
say anything, Daphne? or
Daphne,
speak to yourself?
Daphne, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, they just wanted to put up 2 signs. It's on Murphy Drive and in between Murphy and University. And so since they have 2 frontages, they wanted one on Murphy and one on University. They're both the same size. So I still have no problem with it.
I'd recommend approval as a minor SIP modification.
Second.
Hey, do we know, what do they do for Mitch? It
Do you know
seem-
what they do?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
not
wasn't
that
part
it's
of my
important,
review.
so.
I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
Is anybody here from Format? Yeah, do you want to say whatever you like to say?
I'm
or-
from Ryan Signs. We're making the signs. I'm just here to answer any questions, and I honestly don't know what they do.
Okay,
Thermoforming
all right.
machines.
pardon me?
They do thermoforming machines.
Oh, okay,
Industrial equipment supplier.
well, all right, so. And any questions or comments? Any questions? What's your name?
Bridget from Ryan Signs.
Yeah, any questions for Bridget? I think it looks nice, so I don't think there's any issue here, so. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, all those in favor of the sign as proposed, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion is unanimous. Go ahead, Bridget.
Thank
So-
you.
All right, we'll go to item number 3. Specific implementation plan modification signage, UW Credit Union 6750 Century Avenue. The only thing that's changing is the logo. It's rather than UW Credit Union, they just have a big U sign, so,
Yep, there's 2 wall signs and 1
Yes.
monument sign that are being changed out.
yes.
I asked
So
them,
you want to go ahead and present yourself and say what you like to say, sir, yes.
Hello, my name's Mike, and I'm with the Wisconsin Sign and Graphics, and I'm working with the signage for the updated branding for the credit union.
Okay,
So their intent is to basically remove the existing and replace it with their new logo. There's been some modifications. The old logos were just a reverse stud mount. They would like to have a channel letter with internal illumination on their new logo.
Oh, there is illumination, okay, okay.
The backside, that right bottom one there, that was previously illuminated anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So the illumination is just affecting the front side.
Well, they look very nice. So any questions before we even motion for approval? Michael, you looks like you're excited about this, right?
No questions.
Jennifer?
Nope.
Okay, so need a motion to approve then.
Make a motion.
Mayor, I had a comment for you. I
Okay,
was trying to
okay.
give a staff report
Yeah,
on this.
go ahead.
So one of the things I tried to flag was that the sign will be internally illuminated. The existing sign is not illuminated.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to flag that for everybody, just so you know, and that in case you wanted to discuss it. My understanding is the Neighborhood Association the Architectural Review Committee has signed off on it.
Yes.
Clear to me. It wasn't clear to me whether they knew it was internally illuminated, though.
Yeah, we had talked about it, so they signed off on the exact papers showing the illumination, so.
Okay, that's what I
Talked
wanted
to
to hear.
Brum, and he had no problem, and he signed off on the project. He actually signed off on that front logo being a little bit larger, but we reduced it on Mark's recommendation.
So is everybody, the neighbors are happy?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, we're
Okay.
just, the final step is getting the permit here now.
Okay,
Motion to approve as a minor set modification.
I need a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments now? I actually like this one a lot better than the other one, so. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, all those in favor of the motion to approve this new sign for the UW Credit Union, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
oppo- All right, so unanimous. So, well, go and celebrate, so.
Thanks.
Okay, so it is past 7 o'clock and we are going to open the public hearing for the sign variance for Milton Springs Shopping Center, 2506-2544 Allen Boulevard. I can see there are lots of people who want to speak about it. Anybody want to speak either in favor or against it? So, go ahead.
I'll speak in favor of it.
Yes.
We've just had some of our existing tenants and then some of the tenants we've been talking to about moving into the mall ask for additional.
Yeah, go
signage.
ahead, identify yourself, please. Who
Oh,
you
I'm
are.
sorry. I'm Josh Anderson with Capital Real Estate. We own
Okay,
the property.
okay. So you have some new tenants coming, they would like to put their signs, so you want some more space there, right?
Correct. And then also, we've had some of our tenants that have been there for years also contact us and ask for additional signage just because they're set so far back from
Okay.
Allen Boulevard that they feel they're lost a little bit.
I think it all makes sense. Any questions? Well, do you want to say add something, sir?
I'm actually the sign guy for,
Yeah.
if you had any questions, I was here to assist.
Now, we probably will discuss that later. Main issue is that, you probably want to keep it where it is, so, right? So rather than go through the,
Unless the easement allows a replacement or a movement of it, but if the easement is there,
yeah, you got to
Happy to
speak,
work with.
you got to speak in the mic, please. So
No.
identify yourself and,
I'm Mike with Wisconsin Sign and Graphics. Looking at where the sign sits, we were hoping to move it down to the center of the property to benefit the whole tenants involved. But if there is a major problem with the easement and getting power to it, then as Josh and I had talked about, we're comfortable leaving where it's at and just use the existing power and base and just put a new sign in its place.
okay. Okay, anybody else wants to speak? If there are no more takers, I'm going to close that part of the hearing and we go to the approval of this item number 4. This is the sign variance and design review Milton Springs Shopping Center, 2506-2544 Allen Boulevard. So you guys, you probably have seen the Sean Stowski's report, right? Or you have not?
I don't know if they saw it. I got this, I didn't read it till this morning. but I was gonna read it here for the record. So they're aware of the easement because I had mentioned it to Kevin, so they're aware of this. And Kevin saw this, but I don't know if you guys saw it.
Yeah, I got it forwarded.
Okay, good. So the answer is they did see it. So there is an easement, a storm sewer easement, and Sean is recommending that that we execute a similar easement encroachment agreement, just as we did for the Goodwill sign, because the storm sewer easement is in favor of the city. And so Sean would like to see that easement encroachment agreement in place. The other issue is that there's illumination, which means electricity, and Sean is concerned about private electrical conductors not often located and marked in response to Digger's hotline, and so therefore we do not allow private electrical conductors in easement areas. However, he says we have in one case allowed 12 VDC conductors to power LED lighting to the Goodwill sign, and digging through low voltage conductors is not a significant life safety risk. So therefore, that would be the type of lighting that Sean recommended.
Yeah, so that's a 12-volt direct current, that's a battery powered. We are open to this suggestion, so I guess you guys agreed that you just want to keep it there where it is and not want to mess around with it. Is that,
At this point, it sounds like it's probably the smartest route to go.
I like,
Unless we're way off on how far that easement is set back, we'd have to investigate that. But right now, I think we just stay with where the current sign is located and use the existing power going to it.
okay? Any questions or comments to the gentleman? Michael?
No.
Jennifer? Dan? Leaf?
No.
So now the motion would have to be to keep the
Art?
sign. Yes, yes, go ahead, yes.
Is the rendering on page 3 correct? Because in the ground level, it blocks out almost half of that heritage housing complex.
Just a minute. So where is,
She's looking for it.
Which one is he talking about?
So we're now looking at the monument sign that, or the image that shows the existing sign and the side profile, but that's the existing sign, so we need to go down, I think one more. Yeah, there we go.
okay, there's the proposed one.
So the rendering, it says page 33 at the bottom, Kurt. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's page 3 of the sub packet, so I guess that's 33.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It shows the new sign.
Correct.
Oh, I think he's
So
looking.
do you like the way it is, Kurt, or you have some suggestions? They're going to keep that, they are going to put this sign where their monument sign is now. So I think,
Yeah, it seems a little big.
it seems a little big. So what are the dimensions here?
14 feet should be.
Going from 10 to 14.
For a height.
So 14 feet tall. So do we have any other signs, Mark, which are that tall in the city?
Oh, we have signs of that height in the city. I didn't do a comparison, but our ordinance, the reason this is here before you as a variance is because the ordinance allows a maximum height of 10 feet and 64 square feet. The reason they are looking at the taller sign, 4 feet taller, is so they can fit all the tenant names on their sign, all the business names. They obviously have, it looks like 4 main tenants, that have occupy more space, and then they have up to eight smaller tenant spaces, and so that's the size they needed, as I understand it.
Yeah, because originally we had thought about multiple monument signs, but we're only
No,
allowed to.
I think it does make sense. So if it's a little bit bigger, so what do you think, Leaf?
So
Yeah,
Mark,
yes,
the
Kurt.
hardship is that they have too many tenants for a normal sign.
They have,
Essentially, yes.
well, fortunately, they have quite a few tenants, yes.
And this does not interfere with any site triangles?
Well,
Based on the current location, I would say it does not.
Okay.
I'm trying to go from memory exactly, if you can go back to the site plan. Yeah, that's
Right.
fine. Yeah, it does not. It does not.
any other questions, Kurt?
Nope.
So So the side triangles are okay, you're gonna keep it where it is, so you're increasing the height and so you will use the electricity as it is there now, so. Okay, so then need a motion, so.
But just to clarify, the electricity that's there now is just a standard electrical connection, right?
Yep.
I believe Sean is concerned about that.
No, it's 120 volts, so Sean was concerned about the other side because that was because of the easement. I don't think he's concerned about this one. I don't know why he should be, it's already there.
Well, but when you, just a second.
No, he was concerned about the other side.
Doesn't the easement run along the length?
North-south, yeah.
Yeah. So I would presume it runs
It
along the
runs through there,
existing
too.
sign too, yeah.
So we're in the easement currently is what we're.
That's my understanding and, yeah, that's my understanding. I wasn't aware of this until Sean's email. So
Okay,
his concern is that, you know, I think the concern here is they're asking for a new sign, so this is the time to enter into an easement agreement and require the lighting change.
Okay, so do you want to then defer it and work out those details and approve it next time?
Well, we can approve with the 12 volt,
Oh, we can approve it with a,
right? I
The
mean,
existing power?
no, they think that there are issues with the
When-
existing power.
Can you talk to us about the existing power and how switching to a 12-volt system would affect that?
12-volt systems usually occur inside the cabinet being fed by 120 volt. And right now you have a pre-existing electrical condition lighting the cabinet already. Granted, it probably comes up between the parking lot and the edge of the cabinet. You know, it's coming up in that pole cover there. Right now, it's probably 120 volt fluorescent ballast with lamps, and the new sign would be running 12 volt drivers, but those 12 volt drivers are still driven by 120 volt. So the difference from the sign to wherever the limit of the easement, you know, there's an existing 120 volt buried electrical already, but it's between the sign and the building, not from the sign to the road.
Okay, so how if we were to prove it conditionally that they work with the staff to work out the details? Or do you want to, how do you want to do it, Michael?
So the question would be, so the 12 VDC conductor, is that an acceptable solution for this with the larger sign?
Internally, yes, but getting the power to the drivers, that would be the complications. You know, the 12 volt incoming voltage from there to the building, there's nothing I know of that would support that kind of driver range. Usually it's around 20 feet or so. So to actually accomplish that, you'd have to literally set a box or something outside the easement to bring the 12 volt into the cabinet. So if we could leave the pre-existing voltage coming into the site as it is, we'd convert the cabinet to LEDs, but you still have that 120 volt leg from the base
As a feed.
to the building.
So should we,
I think that's something that they're gonna have to work with Sean on, so that we can nail down how that's gonna work. I don't think that we have the answer for that.
so we should not approve it at this time then?
So I guess I would make a motion to defer it until the
Okay.
electric is figured out to Sean's satisfaction.
Okay, need a second?
second that.
Yeah, so we don't really have any problems, but you need to work out those issues, so it will be to your advantage, because he would know, you can set up an appointment with him, he will know all the easements and everything, and maybe Mark can help work it out. So then your life will be easy and everything will be sorted out.
So that's Sean Stouski?
John Stosky, yes.
Yeah, I can help you
He's
get
the
in touch.
Public Works Director, so. So work with Abby or Mark and Sean, so.
Should take a vote.
Okay,
Vote.
We gotta vote on it.
Yeah. So all those in favor of the motion to defer, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Yes, so the vote is unanimous. Okay, so work with those two guys and then come back and we will handle it, so,
Okay,
thank you. I think it's to your advantage to do it that way. Okay, it is beyond 7:15, and I'm going to open the public hearing for the sign variance for Chalmers Jewelers, 6202 University Avenue. Anyone wants
And
to?
Mayor, one moment, Scott Chalmers, is somebody here for this application?
Yes.
Do you
there is.
happen to have Scott's phone number? Because I thought I had it in this email and it's not here. Do you happen to have it? Did he still want to participate?
So go ahead and identify yourself, and mic is yours.
It looks like it's 608-575-6000.
5, 6.
I'm sorry, 575-4000. 608-575-4000.
All right, so now we've
Mike with Vital Signs. Mike Chamberlain, Vital Signs.
Scott speaking.
Scott, this is Mark Opitz. You are on speakerphone in the council chambers during a plan commission meeting, and Mike Chamberlain is here as well. We just started the public hearing, started the this portion of the meeting.
Wonderful. Thanks for calling. It's perfect timing.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, Mike.
What we're trying to do is just get Scott an updated sign from the sign he has right now. It's, I believe, 14 and a half feet tall. We're trying to get the sign down to the new ordinance at 10 feet.
Okay.
It's just updated. You can see the scale drawing to the current sign in the background, and that's his updated sign there in front of it, just to give you some type of a comparison.
Okay. Looks very nice, so,
And he has that store on Blair Street, East Wash and Blair Street, and we did the signs there, and we're trying to, give him a little branding, using the same colors on the new sign, as he has on the building sign here.
okay. Scott, do you have anything to say or add?
Yes, I just want to be cohesive with my other store, but more importantly, I want to, since I'm the main entrance into Middleton, it's been 20 years since I updated, the color scheme of the building and the awning and the sign. So what I've decided to do, and I think we can work this out together, is I'm taking down, and I took down the awnings, which had names of events on it, advertising that I was previously approved through you guys. But I've decided to take those down, so there's less signage on the building. What I also want to do is lower the main sign by 4 feet, okay? Even though I'm grandfathered in where it's at, I just think a little more modern look, a little lower, be cohesive with the building, would give a really nice 2020 image to that entrance into Middleton. And it's just needed after 20 years, and I figured we could do a little give or take. I'll knock down 4 feet, I'll take all the awnings off with the additional signs, and all I'm asking for is a very small variance, because of the square footage of the building I have, it's pretty big.
Sounds like a good idea, Scott.
Thank you.
Anything else? Do you have any questions for either Mike or Scott? Okay,
I don't have any questions, I just think it's, it's time. I think you're gonna love it when it's finished. I don't know if any of you have gone to my downtown location and actually saw the incredible signage that Purple does, but it's more like a piece of art, and that's kind of what we plan on doing for Middleton.
yeah, I like the diamond in the center. Boy, it looks so real, so,
It looks suspended, yeah. Mike did
Yes.
a good job with that. He kind of made it look like it was suspended.
Yes.
It was real nice and a clean look. So I'm glad you liked it. Thank you.
Mike,
Okay.
I have a
Yes.
quick question. So
yes, Jennifer has, yes.
the Madison location sign is attached to the facade of the building. the sign that you're proposing, it looks like it will be on an aluminum sheet of some kind, is that right?
Yeah, it will be a cabinet. It'll be about a 12 to 14-inch deep cabinet. It's a double-sided sign. All the electrical is in that gold root beer color cabinet. The letters attached to that.
You know, we don't have two sides to put pretty much the same sign on two sides of a building. We've already had that existing sign for, well, we've been there, 20 years now? And now we're in there for another 20 years. And so I just want to update the existing sign. I don't want to change nothing. I don't want to add any more signage to the building. Okay, in fact, I keep remembering I took several signs away from the building. Okay, so I think just replacing the existing sign with a new kind of cool modern look and being nice to Middleton by lowering it 4 feet, I think we can work this out.
Yeah, so I think the Jennifer's question was that possibly at your downtown location, you really didn't have the space, and because of that, you have it on the building, so, right?
Yeah, I didn't have a choice. I mean, we're on a major corner location there. All we have is a sidewalk pretty much in front of the building. I don't have like the nice grass and, you know, lots of square footage around Middleton store. I wish I had that downtown, but it just worked, you know. So to be proportionate though, I have to say that Michael did a phenomenal job in designing the existing sign by lowering it and making it more conducive to Middleton.
And those are the existing poles too, so if you can see the current sign there, we're just gonna take.
Smaller sign, shorter sign, but with, you know, a 5,000 square foot building, I don't know how many other square foot of multiple parking and grass. It's a totally different location. But the difference is, and why I want it to be cohesive, is come on, we're a custom jeweler, okay? We like to do things different than all the other jewelers in town, and we want that image of custom. And I feel our signs that Michael did downtown, they just speak custom. And I also think by putting it in Middleton, it's going to be clean, beautiful, artistic, and a compliment to the entrance of Middleton.
So
Yes, Jennifer.
my question is about the letters, the Chalmers Jewelers letters. Are they the same letters that you put on the building itself, or are
Yes.
they different?
Same exact letters.
Everything will look the same. The only difference is Middleton is a freestanding sign with the same signage on both sides. Downtown, I got a corner big brick building, so I have the same signs, only one on one side and one on Blair Street and East Wash, but they're similar size signs.
Okay.
Same exact look.
I gave them the image showing a photo showing your downtown location, so they have that.
Yeah, so I see in this image of the Middleton sign, it looks like it's gray on gold, but the letters you're saying will in fact be white colored.
It's aluminum. There's no paint on those letters.
Okay.
It's aluminum, so it's the color of aluminum.
He is explaining.
Yeah.
So it's aluminum.
It's aluminum, yeah, there's no paint. The paint is on the background.
Okay.
But the letters are just strictly aluminum with a clear coat over 'em. Yep. And then we take a grinder to the aluminum and scratch it so you get that distressed look. Yeah.
Any other questions? Dan, Michael, Kurt? Okay. All right. So anyone else who wants to speak either for or against? Okay, I'm going to close this part of the.
Just as part of the hearing, I wanted to record that I had put this in your draft comments. We did receive one comment from, I don't remember her first name, sorry, but Ruhly, R-U-H-L-Y, and Mora Ruhly, 2051 Allen Boulevard, number 306. And she had expressed opposition to the sign variance. She said her balcony is their building. Chalmers is a standing Middleton business institution. They don't need to call more attention to have more advertising via bigger, more visible, light imposing sign. Doesn't benefit any of the neighbors with this change. So that was her basis for requesting.
Is she a homeowner or is she a renter?
Her address is 2051 Allen Boulevard, number 306, Marshall Park Apartments.
This sign will be less bright.
Renter, she's not a homeowner. Okay, so she'll be gone in a year or maybe 2 years. So honestly, I've been there 20 years, so that shouldn't even be noted.
But this sign will, Scott, this sign will be less bright. I mean, the existing sign has a plastic face, and the light is coming out of the plastic. The new sign will have a backlit, so the LEDs are in the letter, the light will bounce out the back of the letters and cast a halo shadow around the letters. It'll be
Okay,
it's not gonna be bright at all. You're gonna be able to see it, but it's not gonna be like the current sign at all.
okay. Okay, so any other comments besides those?
That was
I have
the
a
only comment we
question.
received.
Is the angle of the new sign exactly the same as the old sign?
Yeah, we're using the existing post. We're just gonna take the old sign off the existing post, cut the post to the new height, and install the new sign on top of the existing post. So the
Okay, 'cause
angle will be
if you look at
exactly,
the angle of it, I don't think it's actually visible from those condos with the person who was objecting.
Yeah, the condos will be, that's quite a bit further away on Allen Boulevard,
They're way far away from there.
or are these the condos close to the Imperial Garden? But that will be also quite a bit further away.
like I said, the new sign will be a lot,
Okay,
more subtle.
and also it's smaller, you're actually,
Yeah.
it's 10 feet rather than
It's
14.
shorter, so it's not gonna shed as much light 4 feet lower.
Okay. So any other questions or comments? Any other speakers? Okay, I'm going to close this part of the public hearing and we're going to go to item number 6. Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So this is the sign variance and design review, Chalmers Jewelers, 6202 University Avenue, and we just talked about it. Any further questions or comments?
I would also point out its design review, I think as you just mentioned. So the existing, we haven't talked about that at all, but Scott mentioned the green awnings have been removed. There's going to be a gray awning over the main entrance and a small awning added over the employee entrance. The existing Duratran light boxes will remain in place. So this is both the sign variance, sign package, and design review for the building modifications.
Yeah, so I think it's like 12 awnings down. The only reason I'm putting awnings above the doors is, to be polite to my customers and my staff for rain and that type of thing. But they're not gonna have advertising on them. They're just gonna simply have my logo on them, like the front one always did before. But I took down 11 other ones.
Thank you, Scott. So do we have any motion or? Why everybody's excited about it. Kurt, what do you think?
I think you should.
Huh?
I think looks good.
So are you, well, okay, I can make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Okay, need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes.
Scott, it passed unanimously, and you did not get a vote.
Good job, Chris. I always have. It'll be beautiful.
All right. I'm hanging up.
Okay,
Congrats, take care.
okay, so what do you want to do with item number 5? So we talked about it last time, this is a design review, or should we put at the end? This is the fence for, well, let's go ahead and deal with it. So this is item number 5, this is the design review for fence for Avenue Auto Body and Ranch Auto, 7645 Lisa Lane and 3113 Laura Lane. So Daphne or Mark or both of you you had some conversations with
Yeah, so we met with Ben and Mike and with Jacob Klein at the property, and it turns out that the main concern wasn't the trespassing or the littering, but it was mainly the path that you guys saw last time that cut between these two properties. It it was mainly Wrench down here that was experiencing people walking through here. And you can kind of see on the picture there, these are where the car bays are, so they kind of just back the cars out really quickly. And so he was very worried that, you know, when people cut across and they don't see the cars coming, or the people working on the cars don't see the people coming, there would be a lot of liability issues. And so the main concern was to put up a fence here, and then Mike at Avenue thought he could, you know, refresh the fence he has now, and so he joined in. And the reason why they extended it further is also that there are like these electrical boxes here, and so you have to be about 5 feet away from them, I believe. And so he couldn't just cut it off and connect it to the fence here. And so after speaking to both the property owners and with Jacob, we feel that, you know, the chain link fence isn't ideal, but what was recommended, like a Trex fence, was about like 4 or 5 times more expensive, and it was out of budget. And then also the beige coloring would actually blend in more. Oops. And if you can see, it kind of also matches Jacob's building too. So we, so we don't have that many issues with this fence anymore.
So if you were to look at the, you know, the way it is now, there's a drainage area there. So there is a, you know, people can't really trespass there.
The people are walking around that drainage area, so let me.
One of the things we realized it doesn't show on this air photo is the side, there's a sidewalk now that exists along Lisa Lane, and it ends essentially at the property line
Right
where
here.
Daphne is showing with the arrow. And so what could be happening is, because the sidewalk just ends and people are forced to walk in the grass, if they wanted to continue, that might be inducing some people to cut through. But at this point, absent the sidewalk, you know, there's no incentive to continue to walking along the road other than to not trespass, which, you know.
So, but they're walking on the city property where the
Here they would be, yeah.
sidewalk would be,
Yeah,
yes. So that-
but that wouldn't necessarily eliminate the cut-throughs, and I think he has
Yeah,
raised a
yeah.
legitimate concern about, you know, safety.
Okay, let's hear from the commissioners.
So Mark, in the notes, or Daphne, it says that the city usually does not approve chain link fence on commercial properties. Where else has the city approved chain link? Do you?
I would say that we've basically limited it in the past to our industrial zoned districts, which would be west of the Beltline, specifically west of Costco. As a general rule, I can't think of a recent example to the east. As Daphne mentioned, we are amenable, you know, given the location and various circumstances at play here, the vegetation that's there, distance from the across the retaining detention pond, and the safety need that's been discussed, we are amenable to something that maybe stands out a little bit less as opposed to the Trex, which is a very stark design. So we also received an email from Wrench Auto indicating they couldn't come here tonight. They did say, I shared this with you earlier, they're saying they appreciate the commission's willingness to consider a chain link fence with slats in it. As a side note, an auto repair customer had a great idea after discussing the fence permit matter, and he suggested that if the chain link is a concern with the slats, perhaps we install the fence and plant ivy to grow on it. That would soften and beautify the look of it in the neighborhood. So the owner said, or the applicant said he'd be willing to go that route too if necessary. That was Ben who said that.
At least during the summer, I
So-
guess.
Yeah,
Not sure that would look all that great.
yeah. They would get tangled in there.
Bring up the fence. Again, and how tall is it again?
This is the picture that they've sent us of like an example of what they would do. and I believe it's just 6 feet is the fence.
That would be higher.
The only issue I have with the slats is I've seen many of these, and for this kind of application, I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. It's an shop, and we're gonna have to figure out, as we do more infill, we're gonna have to figure out how we divide the similar properties. The only thing that I would say is that if we decide to approve this, is that these slats, after a period of time, sometimes get weathered, or they break, or, you know, so it's gonna have to take some maintenance. It seems as though recently we did some kind of sign, or some kind of fence, where part of the motion was that we went back, and if it faded, or, do you remember that? It's not too long ago.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 fences approved in that,
It was over
By Quick Trip on Branch?
I don't remember where, but I guess my point is that if there's a way that we can, because this will look ratty if it's not taken care of, but so will wood.
I
I
can't,
think that was our biggest concern, was the aesthetic of it.
yeah.
When we was here the first time. I don't see much has changed since that. Maybe some additional investigation, and Daphne, of course, met with the group and had a discussion, but
Yeah, I met with
coming
them.
back to the same result.
one comment I've heard is that, you know, having the slats actually draws more attention to the sign as opposed to a chain link by itself is a pretty, you know, that provides as much light as possible. You know, and they make black chain link fences, for example, as well. Were you looking, oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking that he was on the phone. So I don't know if they were looking strictly at a gray, or if black is an option. I don't think we asked them that, did you? No.
I think, you know, the Jacob Klein has spent a lot of money there, and so I think they need to work at least with the color scheme, and then we are going to have a, you know, huge 261 apartment complex with the Milton Food Market coming out there. So I think we really have to, you know, think through what we are approving here, so.
I also think we want to be supportive of our small businesses
Of course we do.
that haven't had any
Well, of course we
kind of
do.
public assistance.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering that, yeah, I actually visited with them. I talked to both of them, so. Yeah, actually, don't. So what do you think, Michael?
No, I support it. I support, you know, what Dan said. I think the fact that it's kind of right in the middle of the site versus on the perimeter on a public right-of-way, I think, you know, justifies the exception in this case. You know, if it were out on one of the primary streets, that would be a different thing, but the fact that it's kind of in the middle of the site, I don't have an issue with it.
And the other thing is that it really doesn't come up to the road. It actually stays even behind there. It's about, I think from what I could tell, maybe 40 to 50 feet away from the road there, so.
I would make a motion that we approve.
Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4.
this is 35 feet, so you're about right.
Yeah, yeah. And then you got 10 feet of
So
city
Dan,
property there, so.
motion, okay.
I'll second that.
So do we want to, they select the color, or at least they should get some input from the neighbors?
I mean, I would, subject to staff approval.
Okay,
Color
okay,
selection.
let's put this, and you guys will try to work with
Color
both of them,
scheme.
so.
So the motion is to approve a sign with the slats?
Fence.
Fence.
Or, fence, yes. Fence
With the slats.
And the color scheme, I think what they're going for is to try and match the building. Is that right, Daphne? Yeah.
Well, you will work with, you know, both that Jacob and these guys come up with something which is agreeable to all of them. Kurt, do you have any input?
Something must have happened to the phone because I couldn't hear any of the discussion. So
Oh,
I have to abstain anyway.
okay. Okay, you're going to abstain from this one, okay.
It throws a wrench into the situation. Someone had to pun. In his absence, I had to pun, sorry.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to approve the the fence for the Avenue Auto Body and Ranch Auto Shop, and they work with the staff to address any issues. Say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Or anyone abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay, so one abstaining and five
Thank you.
for it, so. Okay, now we are on to bigger and, this is the conditional, did we have a third public hearing? No, we have a third public hearing at 7:30 now. So it's actually 7:40, so I'm going to open the public hearing for the conditional use permit for Milton High School, 2100 Bristol Street. All those who want to speak, come to the microphone, identify yourself, and it's yours for 3 minutes, so. Anybody who wants to speak? Wow, it's so quiet. Okay. All right. Well, there are no takers, so I'm going to close this part of the public hearing, and we are going to go on to item number 7. So this is the conditional use permit and design review for Middleton High School, 2100 Bristol Street. And Kurt, I know you have a lot to say. Do you want to start, or should we let somebody else to begin? Oh, well, all right, so Daphne, who is the staff person to report?
No, I was just asking her to go to the staff,
the
the
recommendations,
recommendations
yeah.
for this meeting.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Mayor, if we?
Oh, well, I think we need to discuss first, so I think we can go to that. So I think everybody should have read it in any case. So Kurt, do you have anything you want to get started, or?
On the high school?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think we've looked at everything. I have no more questions.
Okay. Anyone else? We are simply doing the conditional use permit, and we have gone over it again, so. So if you were to look at the staff comments, so it's.
So Mark, on those motions, it looks like there was 1 and 2, and was there a third one? Was that,
No, the two.
or was that a 2A and 2B?
Essentially, yeah. So what I did to the staff report, I wasn't able to be here a month ago when you first discussed this. Remember, this is here before you because we had improperly noticed the meeting the first time.
Right.
So, so that's why this hearing was extended until today. So you've held the public hearing on the conditional use permit request. There were 2 components to that. Staff recommends granting the conditional use permits. So that would be your first motion, and I've suggested potential language, which would be in the minutes then, but you would need to determine what your rationale is for granting the conditional use permits.
So Michael, you want to make that motion?
And looking at this, I mean, I felt, so we have not completed the TIA, right?
No.
And it seems like that was part of the discussion that we had at the last planning commission meeting as to how traffic's gonna move through the site.
Yep.
And so I think the alternative motions, to me, made a bit more sense.
Okay.
Motion 2B, related to grant design, review approval contingent on the 3 bullet points that were listed there.
Okay, I second it. So we are all with you, except that since the TIA isn't there, so we want to see how the traffic moves. If there's anything else, which you can come to the phone if you want, microphone if you want to say anything, or so I don't think, and everybody's in favor of this project. It's a great project. There's no question about it. So everything looks good. So it is just we want to see the TIA, right? Is that the big concern, Mike?
Part of the design process, though, I think that we have 2 separate motions that we can make. The conditional use permit being motion number 1, and then the TIA was part of the design issue, right? Did I understand that?
Well, that's what I was proposing, but you could link, if the concern is that you aren't comfortable granting the conditional use permit until you get the results of the TIA, you could modify then, have a hybrid of one and, you know, first one that's labeled motion one. You could, I suppose, make that contingent on completion of the TIA. I had considered that as an approach. I was just trying to help move this along because the conditional use permits have to do with the use of the site, just, you know, expansion of the school, and if the concept of that is acceptable, then that's met. And the other one was the height. And if you're okay with the height, I mean, you just approved a zoning ordinance change
Well,
months
that's,
ago.
the height is already approved. I mean, I don't
It's
think
not
that's a
approved
concern.
yet.
No, I mean, we already went through where we approved the variation for the height for the school. Yeah, it's already approved.
What you did is you approved it to be added to the zoning ordinance. You didn't specifically approve this project. as
Which
I
we do
understand
through
it.
the conditional use
Right,
permit.
exactly. I understand the confusion. It-
Oh,
it
I
is- it
see.
is
So,
confusing,
yeah,
One was a
okay, I
zone-
remember that.
One was a
yeah.
zoning
Yeah,
ordinance
yeah,
issue.
yeah,
and-
we just changed that, it could be with in the R1 zoning only for schools and churches.
Correct. And so you
we did,
approved
yeah,
that
yeah,
to
yeah,
allow it
okay,
in the
okay.
R1 district.
And we could,
this would be allowing it now.
okay. So Michael, you want to make that as a part of the motion?
Yeah,
maybe?
I can amend, I mean, I support the conditional use, I mean, fully
Okay.
support that. I think it was just some of these lingering questions that, you know, we needed to, you know, get some resolution on. But in terms of the use itself, the height, you know, the building itself, I don't have any issues with that.
Are you linking the TIA with that or not?
I would propose that we link that to the conditional use
Okay,
as a motion.
and I accept that, so. So you got it? Okay, Kurt, do you have anything to add now?
No.
Wow, Kurt is happy. How about you leave?
Good.
Jennifer?
So I just want to be clear, so the design approval would not occur unless the TIA,
Well, and the two are linked, so the motion.
two are
right?
linked, so it's the
motion-
whole package.
So we're not really granting a conditional use until the TIA comes back. It's all one package. Am I understanding that right, Mike?
Well, I guess the question is, you know, from EUA, does that, you know, what does that do with your schedule? Because, you know, we're not trying to hold up your schedule in any way. That's not what we're here about. I think there were just some concerns raised about the traffic movement through the site, and, you know, if there's additional insight that the TIA will provide, I mean, I think that's all I was thinking of.
Or I could ask you differently, what do you need from here? So that you can keep moving forward and there's no delay?
Chris Michaud with EUA. We need to maintain schedule, and our concern is that the TIA review process puts us too far past when we want to have this project bid. All right, this process for the TIA got set back, and we've been told that it's up to a 12-week process or something like that.
Should be by mid-December, I think.
Mid-December. So we're concerned with there being some, you know, if things start stacking up, it might impact the schedule, and it's very crucial that we maintain a schedule to get the building permit so we can get in the ground at the time that Findorf needs to get in the ground. Otherwise, the construction of the school won't be done in time for the school year opening when they anticipate to have it. So it's very contingent upon having the space available for students, because we have to do this whole transition to the first phase of the construction.
Okay, so what do you need? I mean, this is, we are approving it conditionally, except
Yep.
that you have to.
If we can get a conditional approval on the design of the project,
Okay.
that allows us to go forward and get a permit for construction. And then if the TIA brings anything up out of it that needs to be revised in that plan, we can handle that at that time in a discussion. That's the
You don't have any
assumption that
problem
I've
with that,
heard
Michael?
previously.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So
And
the
we
language
don't-
in the
we-
Staff comments was okay with you?
Was that?
The language in the staff comments on the screen, was that approach okay with you?
The driveway
he's
conditions,
suggesting
common
that
council,
Design
compliance with outdoor lighting, landscape regulations, and engineering
Wants to
staff
grant
comments,
design
yeah.
approval.
Fine.
So you can move forward with this now then?
I think so. If we have a conditional approval to go forward, just pending on that TIA,
Okay.
I think that's
maybe.
Okay.
Is there anything in your mind that's gonna restrict us from holding this back other than,
I would just envision the site plan, you know, it's gonna be hard to address any comments that come up in the TIA and the constraints of the site and with the building plan. But I think what I envision will happen is the TIA, if it identifies any concerns, it's gonna be basically off-site, you know, with turning lanes and I mean, I'm just speculating. Result.
Yeah.
I don't see it affecting the building in any way.
I don't see why it would.
Yeah, I
And
mean-
what I was trying to do with these proposed motions, motion number one has just to do with the conditional use. Motion number two had to do with the design approval, and I was just giving you two different options for how to proceed. You know, the first was just to postpone design approval, and you're hearing tonight that he would like to move ahead. That's why, in anticipation of that, I wrote the second motion as a suggestion that it would be contingent on these things with the TIA linked to the second motion.
That's what we have before us now,
Okay.
right?
Well, but I was a little confused on what originally the motion was to approve the conditional use permit with that TIA language. So I'm just trying to understand for the record what.
Well, I think generally I'm clearly supportive of the building design and the use, and I don't see that changing. I think the thing would be is if the traffic impact analysis comes back and there's any tweaks to the site plan that would need to be made.
Okay.
And we can address that, certainly at a staff level,
Yeah, I
but
think
not
that's-
holding up, the building at all, because we know you need to get
We
going.
have too much money invested there,
that,
so.
that would be appreciated.
Instead of combining the two. I was hearing you combine the two, and I think it would be good to have them be separate.
So going back to the first motion, where the approval of the conditional use.
I think, yeah, with the rationale for, can you scroll up, please, Daphne? So there needs to be a finding when you grant a conditional use permit of consistency with the comprehensive plan and the policies of the city. And so that's where that language, I just was, again, just some suggestions, it doesn't have to be like that. So that would be my recommendation, that you do that first, is consider whether to issue the conditional use permits.
So I would amend my motion to approve
you.
the conditional use permit.
Okay, I second that one, so.
Use this language as you're finding.
That works for me.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes.
That language would be great.
So anybody has problem with that?
I'd be curious how Kurt feels about it, if that's okay to ask him.
Kurt is happy, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to hear anything anyone's saying, so it's hard to know.
So it is just going with if you were to go at the recommendation, it's just going with the first one where there's approving the conditional use permit.
With the rationale.
Yeah, well, I guess you approve it, that's all what really matters, so. So does that, you're happy with that, you're happy with everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then all those are in favor of the motion to approve the conditional use permit, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so now we need another motion, right?
For design review, yeah.
Yes. So Michael, is that the motion there? So,
Yes.
okay. What do you need, Michael? Mark, design, I
Motion.
seconded, so.
Oh, you just gonna go with the motion to grant design review approval contingent on the three bullets?
Yeah,
Yep.
on the traffic and.
With that language, and that
Second.
language,
Okay, well, all right, so,
Seconded, yep.
okay.
who do you want me to list as the second?
Oh, leave. Let's keep everybody happy, so. We want a good high school here.
This language at the bottom, by the way, that last sentence is from our city attorney. I had asked him for some suggestions.
Oh, it
and so
was?
that language was
Okay.
from him, so.
Okay, so we
For
don't need to worry
staff.
about it.
Yeah.
Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Yes, this is aye, so motion passes, go and.
Thank you.
And if you have any issues, let us know, come back, so. but-
Absolutely. Thank you.
But let's get on with this TIA, so if it's not going, so.
It is going.
I missed the conditional use.
Okay, Bellefontaine Boulevard, item number 8.
I have a little information, supplemental information for this one as well. What I meant to emphasize, or should have emphasized more, is that at the bottom left corner of the screen, you can see the existing Bellefontaine Boulevard. That is a cross-section that the city selected, gosh, it seems like it's already 9 years ago. So what we did there is we put in a, do you happen to have DCI map handy or not? We've approved, or we approved a 120-foot right-of-way, and with the intent of it being a 4-lane road in the future to collect traffic on the north side, connecting Onken Road. If you can zoom in with the air photo, please.
Oh, the air photo?
So no, go to the left, whoops. Yeah, right there, just zoom in on where it says yeah, right there, and then turn on the air photo, which, yep. So we approved this road, the corridor, 120 feet wide with the cross-section 120 feet, fitting within the right-of-way of 120 feet and the cross-section consisting of 4 lanes, but we've initially built the north side, and the idea was that in the future there would be, when traffic warrants, that the additional lanes, the eastbound lanes, would be converting it to a 4-lane road. So that's, I just want to emphasize that I should have really done a better job of emphasizing that in my staff comments. Obviously, at the meeting last time, we discussed the Parmenter Street corridor and how we wanted that cross-section to try and emphasize a 2-lane divided median cross-section with the bike path. So if you can go, Abby, Daphne, please, to the, so this concept of the red, what you see here is the concept of the roadway with bike lanes shifted westward, where it says potential off-street path. That's where the Acre Farm is. So this is a new alignment for the road. The orange dots represent the path, the 10-foot wide or 12-foot wide path, shared use path. So that's what these concepts are. These 2 colors are showing a road with the path next to it. Whether that road is built as 4 lanes or some other configuration in the future, that doesn't necessarily have to be decided now. What I was hoping to get your input on was your consent to proceed with shifting the alignment as shown approximately here with this north-south alignment. Other map, please. And the reason I chose that, or I'm recommending that, is because if you look at the yellow dashed lines, that's where those are property ownership lines, parcel ownership. And so it just is a lot easier to work with, instead of encumbering one property, just to go right up the middle and have both property owners be affected. At least that was the idea behind this. The topography would allow it. So that's the thoughts that went into all this, is to have a new alignment and then discuss again with you the cross-section as 2 segments. So those are the 2 things I want feedback on. Sorry, it was a little long.
Yeah, so you probably saw the Sean's comments that it needs to be smoother, so just.
What he meant by that is he didn't want this to be so sharp up here. So,
yes. Well, I guess, 120 foot wide, that's a lot of space there. It's
go
not.
back to the DCI map.
It's not Paris, so I guess, or Boston.
The history behind this is that when Misty Valley, which became known as Middleton Ridge, was platted, we knew that we needed this major road on the north side as a parallel road to Century Avenue. We just need to have east-west circulation north of the Conservancy. That's why we identified a 120-foot wide corridor so that we could accommodate the 4-lane road with the median and bike lanes on each side and sidewalk on each side. This trail idea, I probably am making this a little convoluted, but what I was trying to emphasize was recognizing that after 10 years of living with this concept, we are seeming to be more interested in having a dedicated bicycle facility. Again, we don't need to focus on the cross-section as much as more the alignment so that we can move forward with updating our official map.
Oh, we can talk about both of them.
Sure.
I think one of the reasons why we are not getting those developers to develop that area from Parmenter up to this one is this is
Good point.
this is a big expense here. So if we have made a mistake, it's time to fix it. So I think what we did with Parmenter is excellent. We want that North Mendota Parkway to be built somewhere. You don't want to make this as a North Mendota Parkway. So what do you think, Leaf? You are with the DOT and you have what are your feelings?
I can see the merits of both ideas. We are at a different time than when the Misty Valley was laid out. I'm thinking about it. I think what Mark has outlined as the alignment is fine. You know, I think that works. But let me think a little bit further and hear from a few other folks about the cross-section.
Michael,
So, I mean, and I know we're not focusing really on the cross-section, but is it your thought long-term that this entire section would be 120 feet of right-of-way, Mark? or-
Well, so the first idea is we need to deal with the alignment because the county has purchased land and we need to reroute our roads. So that's the first issue. The second is the alignment. I wish I could have started this over. I would have said it like that to start. The only reason I brought up the cross-section idea is because we've had that intense, this detailed conversation on Parmenter Street. Sean pointed out that the two road corridors are different from each other. This will go east-west, and there isn't really a parallel road that is 4 lanes other than Century Avenue to the south, whereas Parmenter Street has a almost immediately adjacent belt lane corridor, which is 4 lanes. So that was Sean's rationale that maybe this is more important to have a wider corridor here. As the mayor pointed out, rightfully so, DCI map, please. And zoom out a little bit. Thank you. So southwest of here by Graber Pond, we have what looks like a faucet, that tan land. I always think of it as a faucet. There is a proposal there, which I don't think is public yet. I don't recall if it is, so
Yeah.
let's not focus on what the details are. But this road corridor has encumbered the development or potential development of that parcel because of the width of the corridor. They just feel like it takes up so much of the land. At the same time, we need to make long-term decisions for making sure we have the proper width for our transportation facilities. I think it was Kurt Paulson who made the comment a month ago that when we look at these widths of roadways, that 4-lane roads, that are these undivided 4-lane roads are we don't want to see more of those. And I think there's that, as Leaf, as you just mentioned, there's that school of thought now that we want to shy away from that type of design and go more with the median approach. So this cross-section that we proceeded to implement at Misty Valley actually does have that median approach, but it's also 4 lanes. So getting back to the question of the width, 120 is certainly the upper limit because that's what we don't need more than 120. With Parmenter, we looked at 95 to 100, I think is where that is kind of settled. So where we are in terms of width, I think is that's where we need to discuss.
so
what
this
we
will
wanna
be
do.
a neighborhood street
Yeah.
with a speed limit of about 35 miles.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so we don't want to make it a thoroughfare for the people coming from, well, I mean, we like people in Wanakee and all other places too, but, they should be using Highway K or some other ways rather than coming here to this particular road. So we don't want to make it more convenient since it's a residential, so I don't think that, so Michael, Jennifer, you expect more than 35 miles, or Dan, this will be 35, at most 40, so I think maybe even 30, right?
Well, I'd hate to, if this is going to, in our plan to be residential, I'd hate for there to be another Century Avenue. So I'm looking more at, a residential neighborhood, I'm looking more at the design that we put forth for Parmenter. It doesn't
Yeah.
negate the fact that, there needs to be some long-term solutions for
This just
moving
isn't
people
it.
around. This residential area
Right.
isn't it.
And we shouldn't design it so it could be it.
Exactly. I really, my district is, Century Avenue runs right through it, and we don't want another Century Avenue running right through a residential area.
So now that's, how wide is that?
It's not 120 feet.
Well, it's not even 100,
No,
I think it's
no.
66, right?
That's,
Oh, at most 66.
we could measure it quickly.
Daphne, how wide is Century Avenue?
Just if you go east of Allen, like on the hill, just go to the right, to the east more. just pick a spot and just measure the width there.
66.
95.
95.
Yeah.
Well, did we measure the,
No, she did it right. It's not, I'm not too surprised that it's more than 66, because there's a bit of a median there. You know, and that's why 120 feet, so this is, I'm glad this is measured here. So
okay, how
what we-
about, Daphne, how about if you go a little bit east and measure there too?
I think it's probably the same everywhere.
Well, let's have a look, so. East, not west.
She's going,
East.
she's going east,
Okay.
So,
west.
having that extra 25 feet, like there is along current Bellefontaine, what that gets you is that a wider median. So Sean Stowski favors the 120, and I can see the merits of that. But if it's more than we need, then, you know, we don't have to make that decision tonight, obviously. I'm more concerned about the alignment and getting it officially mapped.
So what is other street, which is 120 in Middleton? I know University is not.
Well, here's an example of 66 feet. This is by the Stam House.
There's no median there.
This
Also
is by,
close to Stam House at 66?
well, that's right by, between, Stam House, Old Creek Road is 66.
Mhm.
Well, why don't we continue to the discussion on the cross-section, and I would make a motion that we recommend the city map be updated to the new corridor that you mapped out.
Second.
Kurt,
Yes,
what do you think?
on the official map or on the cross-section?
Well, the first one is the official map, and then we deal with the cross-section. So, but if you want to add the comments that we need 120 foot wide,
Well,
you can add that too.
I don't have any comments on the cross-section because that was not in the packet, so I can't see that.
Okay,
I'll have to watch the video and look at it later. But the alignment for the official map seems fine to me.
okay. Seems, Jennifer?
The alignment seems fine to me as well.
Okay. Okay, all right. All those in favor of the motion for the alignment of the Bellefontaine, just the alignment, say aye.
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 All right.
Okay, so this is approved unanimously.
Sorry I
So,
rambled a bit. I could have handled that better, but we'll discuss this in the future.
okay, so we need to set a public hearing. Is anybody waiting here for the public hearing part? So,
Set a public hearing.
no, I guess,
For which item, Mayor?
yeah, well, we are on to item number 9. Update from
We already
staff.
set the public hearing.
Huh, pardon me?
We'll get to that later in 11, we'll set the public hearing.
Okay, update from staff, general implementation plan amendment for Tribeca Village.
So,
So
really,
this is,
there's-
you're asking for to set a public hearing on November 12th at 7:05, right?
We did that the 8th, didn't we?
Right, so what this is here, I see where there's confusion. So Abby wanted this in the packet, to just provide you with a little bit more information from the previous meeting. That's when you set the hearing, as you noted. At the time the hearing was set, the modifications consisted of modifications only to the area that is zoned for a big box retailer, which was to allow a senior housing development and a hotel instead. And the area that is zoned for hotel use requested to allow an office building instead. Subsequently, staff learned of a multifamily housing building that is being proposed south of Tribeca Drive extended in an area that is zoned for a multifamily mixed-use building. Planning staff determined that the commission should view the changes to the zoning comprehensively, and we've administratively modified the public hearing notice that can incorporate all zoning changes as requested. So essentially, the request now is larger, because we want to look at things as a package. And we just wanted you to be aware of that, so this is why it's only an update and no action required.
Okay,
Okay?
move on to the next
But we wanted
item.
that part of the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 10. So appointment to the Plan Commission member to Milton Westport Zoning Committee. We need one, who is there on that commission now?
Jennifer and I.
So who would, this cannot be the elected person, so. Kurt, do you want, or Michael, either of the are you excited about to be on the,
I can do it again. My time conflict has gone away. But if Michael wants the joy of it, I'm more than willing to yield to him.
I think you'd be a better choice, Kurt, given your vast knowledge and experience.
oh, well, you both will be great, so just,
Motion to approve Kurt Paulson as the member to
Yeah, I'll
the
second
Middleton
that.
West.
okay, all right. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, so the Kurt, you're all done now, so.
And just so you know, Kurt,
You're in.
the other candidate who was eligible made or helped second the motion to
Yes,
appoint you, just in
yes.
case you
Just
hadn't
try to
heard
keep
that,
things
so.
moving along.
I am aware.
Okay,
We have one more item.
move on to the item number 11, concept review and set a public hearing, request for rezoning from general business district B2 to plan development district, general implementation plan, PDD GIP, University Avenue, flat 6413 University Avenue.
So we've received a request for, to rezone this site, and so we decided to add this to the agenda so that we could keep them on their schedule. This would be setting a public hearing for rezoning for the November 26th meeting, 7:15 PM is our recommendation. This is for the site occupied by, for the former Sonic building.
So moved.
Okay.
You're setting the date for
Second.
public
Yeah,
hearing.
the
Okay,
date,
we need a
the date, the
second.
time.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All,
Are you here for it?
I'm here, I'm happy to answer any questions if you want, otherwise we can have.
well, we're just setting the date for public hearing, so.
I had given him the opportunity to, for concept review, if he wanted to be briefed on what he's proposing. If you just want to go ahead with the hearing, you can have that discussion at the time of the hearing.
Wants to,
Yeah.
Well,
We,
mic is yours if you want to come and speak or anything that you would like, so. Well, you sat here for 1.5 hours, might as well, right, so.
Mark was smart and told me I could show up closer to 8 o'clock, so. And luckily I'm
All right.
local, so I was able to put the
Identify
kids to
yourself
bed,
and,
thanks to Mark. So, yeah,
Yeah, identify yourself and then you have 3 minutes.
Kevin McDonald, Vice President of Development for the Commonwealth Companies. I can briefly give you guys a little bit of background on Commonwealth. We were started in 2001. We're an affordable housing developer based out of Fond du Lac. However, about a year ago, we were merged with Middleton-based Mirus Partners. So our development office that I work out of is actually in the BMO Harris Bank building off of the university. So this is
Okay,
one of the few developments that we have kind of right in our backyard that we've done. So we're the seventh largest affordable housing developer in the country. So we work in about 15 different states. I'm in charge of Wisconsin and Indiana for a company. And well, to date, most of what we have done has been in Wisconsin, even though we are in a number of states now. So we've developed about 6,000 units, close to 100 projects, but we're a vertically integrated development company. We have in-house architecture, construction, and property management. And then I can briefly go over the proposal. We've got about, we're proposing 37 units with a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. On the ground floor, we'd be proposing 7 3-bedroom individual entries.
yep,
So I've got some different kind of concepts. They're really just photos of examples that I wanted to share that I could pass out, something for you guys to
absolutely.
think
yes.
about for next time at least.
Yeah, so far looks good what I have seen, so.
So I believe the first few of these are ones that we've done in other areas. A couple of them are different examples. So we shared these at a, it was really a district meeting that the Alder put together. So our architect presented the site plan. There really wasn't a lot of feedback at that meeting, but we've talked to a few neighbors in the area, and so far all the discussions have been, the feedback's been very positive regarding the proposal.
So you talked to the neighborhood, so this is District 4 then, right?
We haven't really engaged with a ton of the neighborhood. We've talked to a few of the neighbors, so there hasn't been really a formal neighborhood meeting. It sounded like I wasn't at the meeting that our architect was at, but it sounded like there were just a few interested parties that were at the event. It was at Midtown Pub, I think.
Oh, okay, so your elder is Emily Kuhn, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Well, do you guys have any questions, or would you like him to keep on presenting more? I'm sure you have all gone through the packet, right? So, Kurt, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a few.
Uh-oh.
So,
Let's get started.
Hi, Kevin. Kevin's my former student, so.
Oh, Kevin is? Wow. So you're going to recuse yourself then, right?
He's done well for himself.
So you think he's
all the 3 bedrooms are the townhouses, right?
We don't have any townhouses, so it's all in a 4-story mid-rise. But they would be townhouse
The 3
style.
bedrooms are the kind of walk-up, labeled as TH on the first floor plan, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I guess they will be 2-story units. So they
Those are
will
like
be. Yeah.
townhouses.
So, but they'll be inside the 4-story.
Right. And then you'd be applying for the WIDA tax credits for the 30 of the rental units?
Yes. 31.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
31. Yep.
Yep. Underground parking or just surface?
Just surface. Well, we do have a few. How many were there on the back? I think it was 8 that would be covered.
Okay. When you do submit an actual site plan, it'd be helpful to see a little more of the context of the neighboring buildings. So when you submit an actual site plan, to zoom out a little bit and show how this looks different from the Sonic and then the apartment complex that's in the that's to the north.
Okay.
But or I guess to the northwest.
Yeah, that's a 2-story, right?
There's one that's 3 stories. This area really drops down a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So it could be 3-story, 4-story could look like 3-story.
Right.
But I generally like the concept of having, as you know, the building closer to the street, activate the street, and have a mix of these kind of walk-in townhouse units and rental. I think that's a really interesting concept. And I just, I happen to know Commonwealth Company does great work.
Also, you like your student, it looks like.
Yeah.
I just audited his class. I didn't take it for a grade. That's
Oh, lucky you.
It sounds like you passed.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt, more questions. Now, he only audited it. You can ask anything now, so.
I'm good.
So that's good, or you have more questions?
I think he said he's good.
Oh, he's good, okay. Any, Michael, Jennifer, Dan, Lee?
This time. Yeah, I don't really have any questions. I just have a couple of recommendations. I would echo Kurt's comment about where you put the parking in the back and the building in the front. That's really great. That's going to really help the site. One thing I might suggest, and I don't know if this is still an issue, but I know when the Sonic was going in there, there was, I think they did a considerable amount of work with the neighbors to the, whatever, back of the
there.
parking lot, so to speak. So I just, be aware of that, and maybe you've already worked with them, but yeah, thank you, Daphne. Just so they're fully engaged.
Yep.
So I would add to what Leaf said, work with the elder. So you probably know the history of what happened to the other development on the University Avenue, a little bit close to the Willie Street Co-op. So, so, you know, yeah. So you want to learn from that one, and good to talk to the neighbors and the elder and see where you can go. So.
Shouldn't be
Any
an
other
issue, but-
advice or any other suggestions, ideas, thoughts? Michael, you're ready.
Any possibility of picking up was that the chicken run right next door and expanding your site to include
We
that?
did look into that actually. Unfortunately, I think Blake George is still the broker on that one. At the time, he said they had it under contract and it was moving forward. So we actually put in an offer, and yeah, there is a.
We would encourage you to continue to pursue that if at all possible.
I think that will work out so well with this one, so.
The only issue there is a big easement that kind of is on the east side of the Sonic site.
Oh.
That would make it very
Or
challenging.
bifurcate the site, yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
What is it?
Bifurcate.
I just,
There's a
yeah.
big-
Bifurcate, yeah.
Big easement there,
I
so.
don't know what that is, but, okay.
Well, so if there are no questions, all those in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for
The 26th.
November 26th at 7:15 PM, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So the motion passes unanimously. Kevin, you can even take his course now without. Well, I guess.
Thank you. I know I'm standing between you guys and getting home.
Anything
so.
else, Mark, or the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, so we are adjourned, so.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt.
Bye.
Good night.